So now we are in the cloud. We got 10 people in the waiting room, and 1 minute we'll let them join. So, cool. Yeah. And Facebook may or may not work, but we're giving it a shot. Yeah. Yeah, it's what we had one that didn't work because I didn't click through all the way, and anyway. Okay.
Dave's been pretty forgiving so far, so it's good.
You're not fired yet.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and start welcoming people in.
Sure thing.
So here we go. Let's go admit all. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, go ahead and I got everybody muted for the moment, but please turn on your video cameras so that we can see you. And in the chats, if you don't mind, just go ahead and jot in where you are from. So in the bottom corner of the screen, you should see a little chat box somewhere. If not, on the bottom of the screen, you have to click the chat box in your toolbar. And let us know where you're joining us from tonight. So some of us, I see some familiar faces. I know you're joining from the Atlanta area, but others, we're not sure where you're joining us from. So go ahead, please, in the chat. Just let us know where you're dialing in from. I guess we're not dialing in, Dave.
If you are, don't blame us when your connection slows down a little bit.
If you're dialing in, turn your video off. Oh, that's funny. But anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight. We're going to just go ahead and let people jump on for a few minutes. We'll start up in about 3 to 4 minutes. We'll give everybody a few minutes here to just get their audio right, get their videos turned on. If you are a participant with your video turned off, we just like to encourage you to turn your video on tonight so that we can connect with you better. Our presenter, Sam, loves to see your eyes. She is a classroom teacher. She loves the eyes and the connection. So we don't care what you look like. This is an informal night. So we've all had a hard day at work. If you're in the Eastern time zone, if you're in the Western time zone, you're just finishing. So if you want to join with your favorite beverage, you may. So that's cool too.
Well, thank you for permission.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yes, some may have different drinks. We have coffee. That's where, yeah, we're presenting now. I guess we got to, get a little more pep in our step. So anyway, let's see. We got 14 people. We'll go another 2 minutes. Brett, it's good to see you, man. Sorry about the 8 a.m. thing. I'll unmute you for a minute, man.
No, dude, that was I was dressed and pressed, at 7:55. It's all good.
So I'm just waking up this morning. So those of you that are joining from other places, Georgia had some tornadoes come through last night, some pretty rough weather. And so last night we were up to about 3 in the morning waiting for all these storms to roll through. We had active warnings in the area. And I wake up about 8 o'clock this morning because we're all groggy. And Bethany's like, we're supposed to have a session at 8 a.m. this morning. Brett says we might be having technical difficulties. I said, no, I forgot to flip the switch from AM to PM on Zoom. So anyway, sorry about that, those of you that jumped on. But anyway, yeah, so we'll give everybody about 1 more minute. If you haven't done so yet, in the Zoom group chat on the side, please let us know where you're dialing in from. So and just say hi from that area. We'd like to know, where you're from.
The chat's already lively. We're talking pizza, wine, and ed camps. All right.
That's a good night.
3 of my favorite things.
Right.
Pizza, wine, and ed camp. Nice. Perfect. Well, let's see. We're still not streaming live on Facebook, but that's okay. That is all right. Okay, Polly, I love your background. You're muted. I'll unmute you so you can tell us. Where's that from, Polly?
Oh, that's my menu. I'm using my screensaver share in Zoom. It's called Minicam. But this is just a slide that is for our VIP kid class teachers. So I'm always using this in our virtual platform. I just wanted to see if I could use it in Zoom.
It works
It
great.
worked.
It
It
works.
worked.
Actually, I think a better story is that's you in the middle in the blue. And
Oh,
last weekend.
oh, well, you wouldn't believe that. Well, yeah, I don't ski like that. It's been a long time.
Maybe you could say that was just a few years ago
Uh,
in southern Georgia, in the mountains of southern Georgia.
yeah. Okay,
All
so
right.
anyway.
Very cool. Thanks, Polly. All right, so it is 8:04. Let's go ahead and officially kick things off. So I'm going to do this so you all see what we got going on. I'm going to share a screen for just a moment. So hoping y'all can see the title slide for the night. Perfect. So thank you all for joining this night. This is our session 6, believe it or not. So Dave is the co-host with me. So Dave and I and my wife Bethany a few weeks ago, we I guess it would be close to 6 weeks ago now. We just were kind of how the backstory, how this all got started is we were just kind of wondering, thinking, man, it must be rough for teachers and corporate facilitators to be making this transition into virtual learning, especially if you've been used to standing up in front of people, talking to them face to face. It's a huge transition. So we figured, a lot of people might be kind of feeling a little scared right now and fearful. So anyway, we reached out to Dave and said, hey, Dave, how could the organic learner and lasting learning, I can't talk tonight, Dave. How can we partner together and just share our experiences with teachers and facilitators? So that's how we came to be doing this session every week. So Dave, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you kind of introduce yourself and tell us just why you're here tonight.
Yeah, the real story now is that when the entire world got flipped on its head and teaching and learning. So I'm an executive director of curriculum instruction, aka an assistant superintendent in a school district. When schools got flipped on its head, I kind of flipped out. I did not know what I was going to be doing, let alone how I was supposed to be able to support other teachers and principals do their job. And thank God for Rich and Bethany and the organic learner, because I'm a guy who, back when I was in the classroom, even somewhat as an administrator, I tried to lean hard on personality and charisma to make it through the day. And now that we're in this world where I can't necessarily see my learners, can't see my students, can't interact with people one-on-one, I mean, I felt like, oh my goodness, all my magic is gone. I need some help. So thank God for the last 5 sessions and tonight, so we can be exposed to more truths and more tools on how we can continue to engage people and engage our learners. It's been so valuable to me. So I'm using this selfishly so that I can grow. And I'm just so grateful for everybody else that's been able to learn some tools and tricks along the way.
So Dave, just a few seconds before we hand things over to Sam, where you are in Michigan right now. What is your current role where you're at, and what's been your experience in education?
Yeah, so I'm in year 21 of education. I am the executive director of curriculum and instruction at a school district halfway between Flint and Detroit in Michigan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're just now warming up now, right? Coming out of the deep freeze.
It's snowing on Wednesday, so yeah, I wish.
All right, man. You're going to get there.
One of these days, we'll get there for sure.
Well, my name is Rich Boudry. I was a teacher. I taught for 10 years in public schools. I was most of those years were in 5th grade classroom in the same district that Dave was a principal in. I supported many of his teachers in my last couple of years of my teaching career. I moved over to corporate training in 2013, and I'm now with Chick-fil-A. I am a principal lead of digital learning, so I'm helping them make their transition from a very classroom-facing, in-person group to a virtual classroom now too. So they are scrambling like everyone else, trying to get all of their training online, and they've been doing a fantastic job getting there. And many of them are going through what you're going through as well. They're used to being in person, and now making this transition, it comes with a different set of skills. So we're going to chat with you a little bit about that tonight. Also tonight, if you are in corporate learning, can you just do a little hand raise in the comment side? That would be awesome, just to know what kind of a group we have here. So if you're in corporate learning, so that would be great to see. I know I know Polly and Brett, you guys are corporate. It's just below on the participant panel. There's a little hand raise symbol. Okay, we got 1, 2, couple. Perfect. I just want to let you all know that because you're here with corporate tonight, you're going to hear a lot of talk about public education, K-12 type tools that absolutely apply to corporate training, just so you know. So a lot of the innovative learning things you're going to hear tonight, or you even hear in corporate, they all have the roots back in K-12 education. So as you listen to these things tonight, you're going to hear a lot of talk about my students, my 5th graders, 3rd graders. Sam, I can't remember what grade you teach, but you're going to hear college students right now. So you hear a lot about that. It absolutely transfers to corporate L&D. So anyway, Sam, I'm going to hand it over to you, Sam. So Sam, please tell us a little bit about yourself before you dive in. That would be great.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So shout out to David Shang, who's a former student who's in the Zoom session tonight. And I think there were a couple student teachers that followed me from Instagram stories over to here. So shout out to you all as well for stopping by, and shout out to Molly for the Ed Camp. Yay. Yeah, so it's great to see awesome familiar faces. And I'm really excited to share with you guys some content around remote online learning. And we're going to talk about building those relationships. We're going to talk about some ed tech tools. We're going to end with some PLN. So as I share out, I know that we are all better together. And as a group, we are super smart. So if I miss anything, please drop it in the comments in the chat below, because we are better together and we are stronger together. So yeah, so please feel free to add in, chime in, and yeah, let's get this party started.
Awesome.
So whenever you're ready to share that screen, I'm ready to click, yes, I will share my screen.
If you just go ahead to the bottom of the screen down below there.
I found it.
You have the power. I've given you all power.
I have the power. Yay. All right, so let me see here. All right, cool. All right, so I have my screen up here, and as I walk through some of the tools today, we're going to use Nearpod as a vehicle to drive this presentation. So if you want to bebop on over to join.nearpod.com, there you can find the URL, or not the URL, the code, the TKVRL, and that's what you're going to pop in where it says join. And then you should be good to go. What I love about Nearpod is, raise your hand in the comments if you've ever been doing a presentation and you're walking around, you're saying all these great things on slide 5, and you look around and some students are on slide 7, some are slide 3, they're all everywhere. I know that's happened to me a couple of times during teaching. So what I love about Nearpod is it keeps everyone on the same slide at the same time. It'll auto advance as I advance my slides. Your slides will be auto advanced as well. You can use Nearpod as a teacher-led training, so something similar to this for our virtual learning space. You can use it in conjunction with Microsoft Teams, Zoom, WebEx, all those different video platforms. You can also have students be logging in to join.nearpod.com with that code, and it'll bring them right to our session. And then there's also student pace mode, and I love this for test review. I can set up a Nearpod presentation that we did in class. I can set it to student pace mode, and students can go through it at their own pace, at their own time, going through the content. So that's a great way to deliver content as well. And the secret sauce for Nearpod, I really think, is the engagement factor. And this is the wow factor for Nearpod for me. I'm able to put in assessment pieces, checks for understanding. I can throw in a virtual field trip. Maybe I'll do that towards the end of today's session. We can pull in collaborate boards and websites, so it can take you to a lot of different places and really engage your students in their learning. So hopefully we're all at join.nearpod.com, and you'll see a little code up at the top, and I'll give you the view from the teacher perspective. You guys all have the student perspective on your own screens. So down here on the teacher perspective, I can see that I have 11 students logged in. I think I have 15 in the session, so I'll just hang out and wait a little bit here. Down below I have how many slides are in my deck. I can pull those up and I can move from side to side. So if I'm finding, oh, you know, I'm going a little too slow, I gotta speed it up a little bit, I can skip ahead to a few slides if I need to. And then what I really like down here is the hide student names. So I can hide student names as the teacher view. If this is up on my screen, I can hide that, but it still keeps track of students' responses. So at the end of my session, I can download everybody's responses and answers, multiple choice questions, those types of things, so I can see how my students are doing with their learning, if I need to go back and reteach anything, if I can move forward with my teaching. And you'll see, if since my screen is shared, we're going to visit a couple of websites tonight, so hopefully my internet will be okay with that. So I'm still waiting for about 3 more. If you need some help getting into Nearpod, don't be afraid to raise your hand. We'll be happy to help you out.
Sam, can I just ask a question as we're waiting
Go
here?
for it.
If you already have presentations created at PowerPoint or Google Slides, is that something that can be uploaded directly into Nearpod, or do you have to start from scratch?
Oh, come on, Dave. Yes, you can upload them right into Nearpod. Thanks for that lovely prompt there. So, yeah, you
Absolutely.
can upload from PowerPoint, and then Nearpod also has an add-in for Google Slides. So if you want to rock that as well, you can totally do that. Because I will say, developing slides in Nearpod, not my favorite design tool, but there's lots of ways you can create beautiful presentations. PowerPoint, Google Slides, Canva, Adobe Spark, some great ones out there. Thanks.
Awesome.
Great question.
Now, and somebody wrote planted question. I wish it was, but I'm thinking about right now, a lot of those teachers that already have their stuff that they created, thinking they just had to throw it out there. Their year was planned, and now they're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to recreate it all. No, you don't. This actually gives it
That's
some
right.
wings. Yeah.
That's
okay. Very cool.
right. It'll add some sprinkles to your already awesome Sunday that you got going on with your teaching material. All right, so I'm going to start bebopping here. We got 14 people in, and I'll just let you know if you do get kicked out or something happens, if you accidentally press the red X, you can always click back on, and the code will always be in the left-hand corner of the teacher screen. So if you need that, you can do that as well. I will say, whenever I use this for my face-to-face class, our campus used Microsoft Teams, so I just click on that, and it just throws it right out to the channel that it needs to go to. I can pop it into Google Classroom. So it's really easy to share these links out as well. And you guys will have access to this presentation after the presentation. So yeah, let's start bebopping here. All right, so a little bit about me. I teach future teachers, and it's an amazing career. I love teaching future teachers all about ed tech, special ed. I also get to oversee a couple of our special ed student teachers out in their placements. So it's a lot of fun to see them grow from freshman year all the way to graduating senior and walking across that stage and embarking upon their first year of teaching. It's so much fun. It's such a rewarding career. Learning never stops, and there's always something new to be sharing, and I learn right alongside with them. I remember like 3 years ago, one of my students was like, Dr. Fessich, you don't have a Bitmoji. Why not? I'm like, oh, what is this Bitmoji thing? I need one. And so, ever since then, Bitmoji's on everything. Yeah, I haven't gotten into the Snapchat bug yet, but I'm okay with that. I feel like I bypassed Snapchat and now I should just jump right into TikTok, but I don't know. Yeah, so also huge pumpkin spice latte fan. So as soon as they come out, like in August, I am in line at Starbucks with my cup. I'm ready to rock and roll with my pumpkin spice lattes. And then I'm an author of a couple books and a podcast host. So yeah, that's some fun stuff. And you can find me over on Twitter at @sfessich. On Twitter and Instagram, I like to keep it simple. So if you want to connect there, you can totally follow me there. All right, so we're going to demo Nearpod's interactivity in just a second here. I want you to think about, remember, close your eyes. What was it like during your senior year of college when you were student teaching? What were you feeling like? What were those feels like? And I'm going to think about one word that you can pinpoint to describe how you were feeling when you were student teaching, when you were just about to begin that walking into the classroom for the first time, meeting your students. What was it like driving up to the building, meeting your co-op? And we're gonna check this out here. Do I want to approve student comments? No. So how did you feel during student teaching? I want you to just type in your response there. And if you feel like you cannot express yourself in words, some people just can't, you can add a little picture there if you'd like. Full of swagger. I love it. That's great. You'll notice I have student names hidden, so I don't know who said that, but that's hilarious. Totally awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so we have some good feels. We have some nervous feelings. We have overwhelmed. We have excited, anxious, brain overload for sure, butterflies, confident. I love it. Thanks for whoever popped in that picture. Excited and scared, all the feelings. And oftentimes when you talk about teachers during the you were teaching during this online remote experience, there are a lot of common phrases it's just like student teaching all over again. I know the chair of my department was like, I'm learning all this too, and it feels like I'm student teaching all over again. And yeah, it's so true. So remember those feelings. Remember that excited feeling. Remember, you had that, I'm gonna change the world, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. You're gonna have positive experience. You're confident, you're excited, and a little nervous, and that's totally fine. And we're gonna talk about some of those feelings and how we can kind of channel that for some positivity when it comes to the online learning space. Also, totally loving that full of swagger. I'm gonna like that one. I'm gonna point out a couple of things on Nearpod. It's similar to like other social media tools. You can like different comments here. So if anything's vibing with it, you can totally heart that if you'd like. And then there's other tools that you can use that's similar to this for students to upvote comments as well. So that's kind of fun. All right, so we're gonna start with relationships. I'm gonna give you examples of how I work through keeping those relationships with my students in this online space. Remember, I teach future teachers, so it's a great way to model to them how educators of excellence teach online and how we can engage our students in learning. We're going to talk about 5 tech tools, but there's so many out there, and we have this much time. So I'm just going to share 5 of them, and I have them all lined up across the screen here, so we're going to jump into a couple of them. I'm not going to do a deep dive, very surface here. And then we're going to talk about professional learning network and how you can use your PLN to really drive you forward, to support you, encourage you, challenge you during this time of need. As teachers, I feel like we really are in a space where we can lead the profession forward. We're in a service profession, and we can be doing so much to serve our students, serve our communities. And there's so many teachers out there doing that through relationships, through communicating with their students, with their parents on a daily, weekly basis. All right, so how can we connect with our students in a virtual space? I have a couple of answers that I've come up with, but I'm gonna see what you guys have. What have you guys done to connect with your learners in this virtual space? I'm gonna click start this activity. You'll notice, I don't know if it's on the top right or top left of your screen, but there is a timer for this activity. So yours will begin in about a minute. So what are some ways you can connect with students in this online space? And as responses come in, as the teacher, I'll be able to see some here. And I can also see as the teacher the participation, how many students have participated so far in the question. Oh, wow, a whole bunch just came in at the same time. All right. Google Meet, Flipgrid, love it. Blackboard, Collaborate, Zoom, Pear Deck, Nearpod, Google Classroom, all the tools for that person. Way to go. Book Talks, oh, asking students to recommend books for me to read. Phone calls, email, Zoom, webinars, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the things for this person here. Nicely done. Oh, Linowit, I have no idea what that is. Hopefully somebody will share what that is in the chat. That sounds cool. Video engagement with Flipgrid, lots of Google Meets. We have less than 2 seconds here. And after the timer is up, it should start pulling everybody's response. As the teacher, I just want to demo something here. I can share responses with students. So as I have students' names hidden, I can share responses. You should see this response pop up on your screen. This is a great way to show examples of content, examples of ideas and work, so everyone can see it on their own screen if you're not using like a shared screen type thing with your students. I'm going to unshare that. So I have a couple of ideas here, and these are some ways that I greet my students virtually as they come in to the space. So my world has really changed. So I used to be like in my classroom, like a half hour before students came in, I had my Spotify playlist going. Students would add songs to it. We'd be rocking out, have a coffee cart, you know, totally rocking it, feeling all the like cafe type vibes in the classroom. But now I have a virtual space and I just have my lonely cup of coffee. But we can still have our shared Spotify playlist, which I love, and we can have that rocking and rolling as students come into the class. I like to greet each one as they enter the room. Like, Hey, good morning, Ashley. Great to see you today. I like to have my students also have their video on so I can see their beautiful faces. And I tell them, I'm like, I need to see your beautiful face. I need to see that we're connecting. And I also have them, I just share with them a little bit about stuff going on in my life. And I ask them questions about stuff that they're doing. So for example, we had a varsity swimmers stop into class today. We did individual talks today during class. And I said, hey, how's it going? I know, you can't get to the pool, but how are you, keeping up with your conditioning and stuff like that? And she goes, oh, we're doing body weight training and we have these videos that we can do. So it's great to just connect with your students just as you would standing outside your classroom door, giving them high fives, fist bumps, or elbow touches, whatever you want to call that. But it's so great to make that connection and make that a positive one. Sometimes as they come into the in the meeting space, we use Microsoft Teams. I might have my screen shared and I might have a little image made in Canva or Adobe Spark that says, direct message me one positive thing that happened this past week. What are you currently binging on Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime Video? What's something you're reading? And what are you excited about for this week? So like pick one of those things and direct message that to me. So I like to have that available to them. So as they're coming in, they're not just sitting there waiting for the class to start. They have something to be doing. And it's also a really sneaky way to take attendance. So that's kind of how I rock that attendance thing. And they all direct message me. Then I'm able to go back after class and respond to each of them individually. So the office is really popular. So I'll go in and respond with like an office meme, like, yeah, high five, with Pam and Jim or whatever it is, just creating that positive vibe with my students.
Sam, I got a question for you, and this is going to be completely.
Is it about The Office? Because I feel like
no, but the Pam and Jim reference, it resonates. It always does. That's evergreen material right there. You talked about having the Spotify playlist. So I'm wondering, what if it's Zoom or Microsoft, whatever, Google Meet, can you screen share things like Netflix and Disney Plus or anything like that? Ooh. If you want to have something like that going with your kids when they entered a room?
I have no idea. Maybe I'll try it out on Wednesday.
Okay, but obviously Spotify, your list. How are you sharing that?
On my phone.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
before we left for classes, I always share a Spotify playlist, and it's actually in our syllabus to add to it. As long as you can play it to kids, we'll play it during class. So nothing weird. And so I just have it playing through my phone, and I have my speakers on. It just picks it up. Cool. I got that idea from the chair of our department. She goes, "Yeah, I put my jams on, and we rock out before class starts."
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So another thing that that we can do to keep those relationships going is I set up office hours during my daughter's nap time. So from 12 to 2, hey, I'm on, I get on. If anyone wants to chat, they totally can. If anyone wants to have a virtual cup of coffee, I'll totally rock that as well. I love to communicate with them every Friday. We are a faith-based institution, so I'll send them out a verse and I'll share about how that relates to me as a teacher or as a parent or as or ask them, how does that relate to you for your future students or something like that. So I love being able to communicate with them in direct message on a weekly basis, just checking in, hope you're doing well, maybe send them a resource about a podcast episode that I just listened to or an article that I read, and just be like, hey, saw this, thought of you, send it really quick. Phone calls. So I don't call my students, but I know a lot of K-12 teachers do. They'll call their students, check in with them. I saw something on Facebook or some sort of social media like, my teachers are checking up more on my kids than I am. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I mean, it just goes to show that teachers care. They want to reach out to their students, and phone calls are a great way to do that. I do write postcards to my students. So I'm in the midst of writing postcards to all my students. On Amazon, I got these really cool sheets of paper that have seeds infused into them. So you just plant them in your garden. So I'll write something catchy about that and throw that in the envelope and be like, hey, can't wait to see you bloom during this school year, something like that. I don't know, haven't thought of 100%, but that's what I'm sending out to my students, and these are college students, and I know that they appreciate that, because every time I sent them mail in their mailbox on campus, they're like, I got mail, and everyone gets excited for mail. Yeah, so those are a couple of my ideas, just to set that positive vibe, keep those relationships going throughout that virtual space. Keeping the lines of communication open. So I try to think of things that I can send them throughout the week. So I have a little Google Keep list on my phone, like, what can I send them this week? So maybe I send them a picture of my pets, be like, can you caption this for me? I don't know. Send out what books that I'm reading, favorite song, throwback pictures. Every time on Facebook, it pops up, hey, remember this one time you took this picture of your students? Like, oh yeah, my students. So sharing that out, like throwbacks to ed camps, things like that. I'll sometimes send some students who direct message me, hey, you know what, I'm having a hard time getting my routine getting back into my routine, getting back in the schedule. So like I'll send them like maybe a little resource that I found to help them manage, you know, time, how to block time out to work on projects and things like that. Because some students they're either finding, I have so much time, I can just keep pushing stuff off, or I don't have any time at all. Where'd all my time go? So or people in the middle are like, okay, I'm working, every day's a little bit different. So just encouraging them and being positive. My dad always says, Sam, always smile at people. You don't know if you're the first person that's smiling at them. So always be positive. You're put on this earth to be positive. So that's what I try to do, and try to, you know, show that to my students. So I already talked about direct messaging with them. Before we left campus, we had like one class, and then like classes were canceled. So before we left, I had them all create small groups, self-selected small groups of 3 or 4 students. And I said, okay, so make awkward eye contact with all your friends now. Somebody start a group chat on Teams and add me to that. And these are your people. These are your people for questions that you have, comments that you have. If you can't find a link to something, positive encouragement. You know, I want you to check in with everybody, see how they're doing. So these groups of 3 or 4, these are your people. And I use these groups during live teaching. So instead of me just talking away, I say, all right, guys, we talked about using Buncee to create social stories. I want you to get into your small group, and I want you to share what's one idea that what's a topic that you can use to create a social story about for your subject area or grade level. And then they're in there, they're talking to their friends. Sometimes they'll do voice memos, sometimes they'll do actual calls within small group teams, or they'll just text it out or put some images in there. And it's a great way for them to keep their connections with each other, because that is super important. They need to keep those connections as well, because, you know, having a college experience, you have those social connections. You need to keep those. I also encourage them to take collaborative notes. I'm like, guys, class 50 minutes can seem kind of long online. So totally like collaborate on notes, share a Google Doc, share a Word document, and take notes together. Because sometimes, you know, you might just kind of trail off. They're like, oh, wait, what are we talking about? So take collaborative notes, and I encourage them to do that. And they can share files within those small group teams, so they can be, you know, keeping each other accountable in that way.
Sam, I got to say real quick,
Yeah.
I know we're talking right now, virtual, online, all that stuff, but there's not a thing that you've said so far that we can't apply in face-to-face classrooms next August, September,
Yes!
October. This is amazing stuff. Thank you so much for not just plugging the gap for us for the next couple months, but saying, hey, change teaching. This is awesome.
Thanks. Cool. This is exciting. All right, I'm going to keep rolling here. All right, so yeah, so we got to have fun with it, because if not, life would be pretty boring. So we started a virtual spirit week in our ed department. I think this week we have ugly Christmas sweater day, you know, college campus colors, of course, favorite sports team, hat day, quarantine hair don't care, you know, stuff like that. So you got to make it fun, and there's tons of virtual spirit things all over the internet that you can find, and celebrate fun days with your students. So it might be, I don't think Donut Day, I know it's a thing, but I don't think it's a thing this month. But if it was, I would totally be rocking Donut Day with my students. And we know that there are teachers out there doing these beautiful video tributes to their students. Whole schools will go and they'll put pictures up of their staff holding up signs saying, we miss you. We can't wait to see you. I had my students do something, my future teachers do something where they just wrote on a piece of paper next to them, just a little sign of encouragement. And then we created a video about that to send that to the K-12 students. And then there's teacher parades. So like, I want to do a teacher parade, but I feel like we would go across the country in our little ed department van, and you know, that, I don't know how effective that would be, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. But there are districts that are doing teacher parades where teachers will get in their cars and they'll just wave, and they will write on their cars, we miss you, like on that car paint that you can do, or have signs up. And it's so encouraging to see that. There are districts out there that have signs made, yard signs made for their teachers or their students saying, a great teacher from XYZ school district is teaching here, or a senior from such and such a school district is learning here, whatever it might be. I want one of those yard signs. So if anyone from Grove City is listening, I totally want a yard sign because that'd be awesome. And then there's teachers out there doing like a really cool version of Ding Dong Ditch, where like it's a cool present, not like anything weird, where like they'll just like get something for their student, they'll wrap it in plastic, ring their doorbell, and like run away. And it's from a little note from your teacher. There's also teachers, student teachers even, that are sharing signs that say, I really miss, and then whoever's class at such and such a school district. Or they're also connecting with their cooperating teachers, reading stories to their students, or helping them create content online. It's a great space to lead. All right, so let's keep rocking and rolling here. We have a drawing one because drawing ones are a lot of fun, and you can totally cheat this one if you want. So I'm not very good at drawing. So if I were doing this, there's like a little text box button you can click on and you can type out your answer. But if you want to have some fun, you can totally rock the drawing option. So what's one idea that you have that you're going to connect with your students in an online space in a fun and fancy way? And I can't remember, you might be able to upload pictures. I can't remember if you can do that. I think you can. I'm going to say yes, you can.
I'm trying to picture what you're talking about in a corporate setting. And I think if those of you in corporate learning, we got to try to be all business and, buttoned up. But no, man, and another thing I was thinking too is this would be really cool if you're like a manager or an admin trying to keeping the lines of communications open with your teams. I mean, what we're all learning is I was just talking to somebody today that you're so business oriented when you're working remote because you don't have those moments in the hallway where you stop and just have a cup of coffee or whatever. You lose all those. So it's so important to do this stuff in this virtual role. So those of you corporate learning folks or managers or admin folks, this would be what a great way to connect with your people and keep those communication lines open. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. We have, so on the teacher view, you can see we still have the timer going. You can see the people who have responded. So in green, those people have responded. People in yellow are still in progress. And what I like to show you about this part, so if you're having students solve a problem or write out steps to a process, you can see them as they go live. So maybe this would be a great way to share screens to show examples and non-examples, or hey, how did this person get their answer, with names hidden? Let's look through how this person got the same answer but using a different technique. So this is a really neat way to do that. And then I love it. So we have a sunshine here and some music playing, coffee time. I love it. Yes, lots of sharing of poems and some read alouds, reading your favorite book. Fantastic. And there are lots of resources out there if you're going to be doing read alouds. There are lots of authors who have said, yes, you can read my book aloud. Just make sure you read it like into a closed group, for example, Facebook group or Google Classroom or something closed. And then once COVID-19 is over, that you take it down for copyright reasons. So make sure you double check with the author and the illustrator if that is applicable. There are resources out there that read stories like celebrities or read stories, like Storyline Online has a great book bank of resources of books that celebrities are reading. So you can just pop that into something if you don't want to get into, contacting authors and things like that. Okay, friends, it's like 8:40. I got to keep rolling here. Okay. So a couple of things when it comes to working through your content. And I know a lot of us, we had our lesson plans ready to go for March and April, and then, this pandemic hits and we need to rethink how we frame our content online. So my biggest pieces of advice are chunk your content, meaning like give students 5 to 10 minutes of content and then have them do something, whether it's think about it individually, chat with a partner online, through direct message, or chat in a small group and then come back to the large group, or think about it individually and then I'm going to call on 5 people to share their responses in the large group. Just give little bits of content and then have them do something with it and then keep going. Like follow that model. Bit of content, do something. Bit of content, do something. And Nearpod is a great way to help facilitate that within your online class. So going right into that, adding engagement and checks for understanding. You can pull in to Nearpod, because this isn't like a formal content-driven presentation. I don't have like ABC answers or anything, but you could totally pop in multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer responses, matching, like those old school like memory games, like matching questions. You can do drawing questions. Oh, and then there's a really fun one. I will tell you guys, my college students, they go crazy for time to climb. Time to climb, it's intense. So what it is like you have your multiple choice questions, and everyone is given their app. They get to choose their avatar, and you get to choose the majority rules on what background you choose. Like it's space or Himalayas. Sometimes they'll have holiday ones. That's always what I go for during the holidays. Even if it's after the holiday, I don't care. I'm going to do it. And so they choose their avatar, and then they're given questions, and then they climb the mountain to see who ends up on top with all the points. It's intense, guys. These college students, they go for it. And what's nice about it, it's timed, and so they have a certain amount of time to answer their questions. It's a nice review during content delivery and then after content delivery.
Sam, do you mind me asking, when you're teaching your courses, are they all synchronous? Do you do everything at real time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I do everything in real time. This week, I have students meeting with me individually, so they have time to work on their Microsoft and Google certifications.
Very
So,
good.
yeah. So this kind of leads me into the next one, student choice and voice. So I had one student about 2 weeks ago direct message me and say, "Hey, Dr. Fessich, I know, we're on break. Could you, because we didn't have classes for a week while people prepared. Can you share more about getting to be a Google certified teacher?" And I was like, "Ooh, I like this idea." So I actually went through and used the teachable moment in this class, where we had 5 class projects due before the end of the semester. I took out 3 of them, and we decided we were going to investigate Microsoft Certified Educator and Google Certified Educator. So now they're going through the trainings, they're going through and picking their own learning paths and courses, things that are going to engage them as future teachers. So providing them with choice and voice in the classroom is a great example here, and then giving them the power to explore that and then check in with me. So in place of having our classes this week meeting for an hour for 3 days a week, they're using that time to work through their certification training, work through their modules, reflect on what they're learning about. And today's Monday. I know it's going to be a great week, and they're going to be so successful in that. And that's going to be a great booster for their own knowledge, resume booster as well. And I love that they get to choose where they want to explore in those areas. Okay, so I also really enjoy having my students show what they know in different ways. So whether it be through recording it on a Flipgrid, recording a podcast episode, creating something using some of the tools we're going to talk about now, it's just such a great way for them to show their own creativity and speak to their strengths and maybe learn something new that they can use in their own classroom. All right, so I talked about the teachable moment in the last example about the Google certification and the Microsoft certification. I know that there's lots of teachable moments that we can be thinking about. Sorry, I always have to read this. I sometimes will press the wrong one. No. Okay, as I want you to think about the teachable moment, what are some things that you can use in your classroom to your benefit and have students work through, puzzle and critically think about when it comes to online learning? And I'm going to pause here and let you guys put in a little post-it note here.
Sam, I got to make just a shout out to you. Great job facilitating so far. We had some expert facilitators on here from Chick-fil-A a couple weeks ago, and you're just doing a really good job demonstrating how you're supposed to be engaging your learners. So this isn't just a webinar. You're really engaging us. Every few minutes, there's a new activity. Love it.
I mean,
Awesome.
I am floored here. I'm glued between this and the screen. Not sure if I should be looking at you or looking at my screen. I'm not sure what to do, and I love it.
Yeah, I struggle with that sometimes, sharing my screen or not. So.
Well, this is perfect though, because you don't have to toggle back and forth between different tools. You can stay in one tool and get that engagement. So nicely done. Carry on. Sorry.
Thanks so much. It's kind of, it's kind of the day job. So yeah, I really like it. All right, so we have, as a student teacher, we're finding new tech resources, we're mentoring students, yes, like Nearpod. Shout out to you, student teacher. Make mistakes with technology and have to apologize all the time, ask them for help. I think that's a great way to show students vulnerability and being honest with them. Hey, you know what? Learning never ends. I'm still learning this too. And I know that you might know how to use Google Docs better than I can. So can you show me some great ways that you're using the research tool within Google Docs, whatever? I think just be upfront and honest with them. I've had students show me amazing tech tools and I love learning from them, and I'll put them in my class from now on because they're fantastic tools. Suggesting resources I haven't seen. Yes, opportunity to discuss solutions. I love that. Follow their passions. Ooh, I love that one. Yes, fantastic. Digital resources for my mentor, teacher, and students. Yeah, that's a great way. I'm thinking that's a student teacher who wrote that. Fantastic. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to keep rocking and rolling here, friends, because we got stuff to check out. So I'm going to just share 5 simple tech tools that we can use online or face-to-face learning. Now, each of these next slides, they have like a little description about the tool and then a link to the website. Because of time's sake, I'm going to demo them here on the shared screen. You will have every single slide at the end of the session. So just for time's sake, I just want to go through each of these. So my first one is classroom screen. And this you can share with, do like a screen sharing with your students. What I like about it is you can pull up a clock here. I know some student scheduling can be a little tough, or like telling how much time is left in an activity. I know I had one student teacher who's had a student who always asked, when's lunch? Is it lunch yet? When's lunchtime? So having this up there for them, you can also have the calendar up there as well. You can have a timer set, and this is my saving grace. I know there are so many times my poor students, I tell them, okay guys, we have 2 minutes. Can you discuss for 2 minutes? Then we'll come back as a large group. It's never 2 minutes, guys. It's more like 30 seconds because I just get too excited. So I set my timer and we are ready and we're off to the races. What I love about this is you can customize the bells. So like, I don't know if you guys can hear that. But you can totally rock like Mario Kart on here. So whenever like the timer's up, it'll play Mario Kart. We all got to get back to our seats. We're ready to share out in a large group. Or if you're a fan of SNL, you need more cowbell, you can totally rock that as well. What I like about this next part is the work symbol. So as students are entering their virtual space or the face-to-face space, you can have in here, okay, here's what we're working on. Here's what you should be doing. Are you entering quietly? Are we taking a test soon? Are we preparing our minds, to be focused in on that? You can, come in, chat with your friends, or are we all just like, hey, what's going on, everybody? And I love to pair this work symbol with the text option. So many times we have morning meeting or warm up or 5 minutes before a bell ringer activity. This is a great place to pop that. And then as students come in, they know what the expectation is. Maybe throw a little timer on there, totally jazz it up. It also can do sound level measurement, measuring the sound level in the room. You don't need that for an online space, but just saying. And then you can change the background. Oh my gosh, these are hilarious. So you can have your own live webcam. So as students walk in, maybe it's showing them walk across the screen. Students like, whoa, look, it's me. Or you can have oh, this one's my favorite. This squirrely guy, Harry Hazel. He's my co-teacher sometimes, and he'll just pop up on the screen, and he's there to hang out with us for the day. And then you can also translate. So there's some language options here as well. So that's classroom screen. The next one is Microsoft Immersive Reader, and this is my jam. Oh my gosh, I could do a whole session on Immersive Reader. It's my favorite thing in the world. So what it does, it's free.
What you doing next week, Sam?
Immersive Reader. So it is free. It's a cross-platform, and so many tools like Nearpod that we're talking about today, Bunsy that we'll demo in a couple seconds here, has Immersive Reader embedded within it. So I'm just going to demo it very small, very quickly. Here, so what I love about it is, as a former special ed teacher, I had to buy software that did all these things for me. So for my students who needed content accessible to them, I had to buy all the software to go with it. So to just zoom in text, I have that option here. I can increase my line spacing. It increases the spacing between the lines, between the characters, and between the words. I can change my font, and it doesn't have the dyslexia font, but the Comic Sans is as close as possible. For my students with visual, who might have some, reading the screen can be really hard all day. So maybe having a nice contrast of the text and the background can be there as well for them. It also does text to speech, so I can play it through. It has male and female voices, and I can change the setting, the rate of that as well. For my teacher friends out there, I can break stuff down into syllables if I need that for my students to see the words broken down. But for my corporate trainer friends that are in the room, I think this is a great way to make sure your manuals are accessible or your presentations are accessible for your trainees or your learners, because you never know what people are working with. So maybe making it accessible first should be priority one, instead of going back and doing it later. Reading preferences. So as a teacher, I get so excited about this one. So as a teacher, I had like that little note card that would go down line by line. What I love about this is, I'm going to play it through. You won't be able to hear it, but it is talking. So as you notice, the screen went dark. It highlighted the one line at a time. It highlighted each word as it read it aloud. And I can change that. Like I said, I can change that rate. Picture dictionary. So Microsoft partnered with Boardmaker, Speaking Dynamically Pro, which is a software for students with special needs to create communication boards. And they now have pictures right here. And fun fact, you can translate. And I love this option. Every time I show this to my college students, like, why did I know about this when I was taking Spanish 101 or whatever? And look at all these things I can translate it to. Let's go here to German. I can translate the word, or I can translate the entire document. Here's the German. Sam, that was German. And here is the original. And then it'll read it aloud in German. In some of the languages, it will read it aloud to you. Some of it will not. So this is a great way for me to create material that if I have students who have English language needs, I can translate that material for them. They can flip back and forth. Or for the parents of my students, I can have that available to them as well. So that's why I get so excited about Immersive Reader. Oh shoot, I don't know where to go next. So I'm just gonna go to Office Lens, because Office Lens lends itself really nicely to pair up with Immersive Reader. So for my students who are accessing print material in an online space, it can be really difficult. And I know nowadays, like my students will take notes by taking pictures of the screen, which is totally fine, I don't care. But a great way to do that is using Office Lens. It's a free app, it's on iOS, Droid, all those things. And what it is, you can take pictures of whiteboards, documents, business cards, or photos. And as you take your picture of whatever you're taking a picture of, a document. So I know I always like to take pictures of documents, because for some reason I lose them all the time. So I like to have a digital copy, but it'll clean it up. And then you can save it as a JPEG, as a PDF. And for my student teachers out there, like, turn up the volume. This one's really important. It'll save, if you're taking a picture of, like, if the teacher's like, here's all my resources, they're amazing, you should keep them all, and you're handed like this stack of papers that you're juggling, take a picture of it with Office Lens, because it'll save it as a Word document. What? Amazing, right? I know. So it's so cool. So I can now, if I have to make adaptations to that document for my students, I can just go right into the Word doc and just do my own thing. And what else does it do? Oh, yeah. Right within the app, they have the Immersive Reader option. So now I have all those options. So if I have a worksheet I want my students to do, I can take a picture of it with Office Lens, and then I can have it read it to me. I can have my contrast. I can have my spacing. It's phenomenal. Oh, I just love Office Lens so much. So it works
Seriously, there's truly an app for that. I mean, there's an app for everything right now. This is game changer right now. What I'm loving right now, Sam, is, so we've spent the last few weeks really exploring Zoom and all the interactivity and engagement within Zoom. And as people are playing around with it now, or even Microsoft or Google Meet, we're starting to learn that depending on the device you have at home, you might be running into some obstacles. Maybe the whiteboard feature is not available if you have a Chromebook. With Zoom or with Meet, you might not be able to have all the interactive. You're showing us all the workarounds right now and these things that we can use no matter what platform you're using. It's phenomenal. I'm like mind blown right now.
I'm so excited. All right, cool guys, let's keep rolling. So I'm gonna bebop down to PLNs. You'll have access to all these links for the tools that I didn't show today, including Buncee, Book Creator. There's another one, I forgot what it was already. So I'm gonna rock right into PLNs. So for me, I have a 3-year-old at home and our quarantine soundtrack is Frozen 1 or Frozen 2. So this is all that I ever hear all day, every day. So we know that your professional learning network are your people. They will help support you throughout good times and bad. They'll challenge you to try different things, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And a PLN is phenomenal. So I love connecting with mine. They are, I'm going to skip this question because I know I only have a couple minutes left. They're there for me to collect resources. This is where I get all my content for the classes that I teach. I go to see what real teachers are using in their classrooms, and I integrate that into my class as well and share that with my students. I use it to communicate with professionals in higher ed and teaching, current teachers and MINs, all those, and then also student teachers and future teachers as well. Professional learning networks are a place where you can find your own professional development at your own time, at your own place, pace and place, and have it be something that speaks to your teaching heart. So instead of having district professional development, you can really engage with a variety of professional development opportunities through your PLN, through Twitter chats, through podcasts, through book chats. It's a phenomenal space to connect with people who are in the same boat as you, or maybe they are a step above, or maybe they're coming up the ranks in teaching and you can mentor them as well. It's a fantastic space. So whenever I work through creating a PLN for my student teachers or my pre-service teachers, sometimes some of the lies come up. So the first one is no one's going to follow me. And friends, I'm here to say followers do not come overnight. They come with quality content. So if you're posting out quality stuff, if you're posting out maybe link to an Edutopia article with your own thoughts about it, or link to a video that you created with content that people can find and share, followers will come. And it's not about the numbers, it's about the stuff that you're posting to your social networks, whether that be Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, or maybe you're creating your own digital portfolio. I know there's so many teachers out there blogging about their online teaching experience, which is awesome. I don't have time. I get that a lot from a couple of students, and I totally get it. Our time is precious, and we need to put, I think, being on lockdown or quarantine shows us that our priorities sometimes need to be realigned, and thinking through, instead of scrolling mindlessly through Instagram or Twitter, going to it with a purpose and think, okay, I'm going to search for the hashtag EdChat and let me see what comes up. I'm only going to search for 2 minutes though, and search and see and retweet and post or like something and see what's out there. Maybe follow somebody who's posting some good stuff. Yeah, so be picky, choosy about how you spend your time and be there as a purposeful learner. I don't have anything to say. I think oftentimes future teachers think that because they don't have 5 years of experience, 5 months, 5 days of experience, that they don't have anything to say. And that couldn't be further from the truth. If you're a student teacher out there and you're thinking about getting connected as a professional learner, you already are a professional teacher and you do have value to offer the education field. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear things that you're learning about, things that you're trying and creating. So as you're doing those read alouds or creating content for your mentor teacher, share them out. People want to connect with you and they want to see the amazing stuff that you're doing. And who knows, it could lead to an administrator finding you and you know, you might get a job from it. So my challenge to you is to not only stay healthy, helpful, and calm, but also get connected. Find a professional learning network that's going to help push and drive you and support you in good times and bad. All right, friends, it is 8:57. Hey, I think I did pretty good. I will send Bethany the link for today's presentation, but I would love to connect with each and every one of you over on Twitter or Insta, and then you can check out my site as well. Yeah, I would love to open up to questions if you don't mind.
I was gonna ask Sam, how did you get to be so amazing?
You know.
I mean,
No,
seriously, this is incredible.
It's the people in your life, you know, your mentors that you have that you want to be like. So I'm going to be just like Connie Nichols, the chair of my department. She is fantastic. She rocks TikTok, by the way, with fun dance moves. So I got to up my game there. But I just, you know, you just want to be the people that you've looked up to for so many years. So yeah.
Well, I look up to you because as I'm listening to this, I mentioned I'm in my 21st year, and you know, a month ago, all of our worlds got flipped on their heads, no matter where it is that we work. And a lot of us right now feel again like, oh my gosh, I'm back to the beginning. I'm starting all over again. And we're all those student teachers. We're all in that phase right now where we're experimenting and exploring and just trying to find something that sticks. And literally every single slide you showed me today, I was like, oh, I can take that. I can take that. I can take that. And I feel like I've got some tools now that give me some confidence and some swagger, if you will, going forward.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Sam, you can add that to your resume now that you help provide swagger for people.
I know, right? I'm going to put, I'll make something cool with that. Swagger.
Swagger maker.
Yes. Swagger aficionado.
Swag Master. I love it in the comments.
Yes. Love
Swag
it.
Master Sam. That's a rap name.
Yes. That'll be my alter ego.
So Sam, I know we're wrapping things up, but one of the things I think I loved hearing, and I think we've all heard this tonight, you're having fun going virtual. You are having fun.
Yes, I am. I enjoy it so much. It's a great new way to teach.
Yeah, it came through so loud and clear tonight. And I think when you're having fun, you need to not be afraid to have fun and try things, right? Things fail. Things don't work out. So, you know, what would you say to somebody that's thinking, oh, I don't want to go that route. That might fail. All my students are going to be looking at me online, you know?
And that's okay. I'm glad they're looking at you online. You know, I think now is a great time to take a risk and try something new. I know that sounds really scary. And if you're not comfortable with technology, that can sound like, oh, hey, now I don't know if I want to do that. And that's okay. I would try something small, try something little this week or next week, and then take another baby step forward and try something else, or add to that one little thing that you did. So maybe you want to try classroom screen with a little greeting message or something like that as students come in, or maybe you want to try creating something with some of the other tools that I have that I didn't get to show, like Buncee or Book Creator, or have your students do something. So like, hey guys, I found out this cool tool called Buncee EDU, and you guys are going to create something with it, and I'm going to check it out. So flip it on them, have them, you know, try something new and creative.
So in the wise words from our actor Bill Murray,
Swag Master.
is baby steps, correct?
Baby, yes, I love it.
Yes, baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hey, it is 9:01, everybody, and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We can hang on for a few more minutes if people wanted to chat with you, but everyone else, feel free to jump off and join us again next week for our next session, Becoming a Virtual Teacher. So thank you, everybody, for joining. And Sam, I'll let you, say your final word here as everyone's still on.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We can do this. We are stronger together. Thanks for being amazing.
Thank you so much, Sam. That's a wrap, I guess.
Woohoo! Awesome.
That's incredible. Dave, I so many times during this presentation tonight, I've been like, wait, Sam, we can come back next week and go deeper. Don't rush, slow down.
I know, I'm sorry. Let me end this session on Nearpod, and I will send you the student paste while we're sitting here. Hey, Kate, I thought you followed me over here.
We're still recording as well, Rich.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.